Hi guys, Stephanie again, and I thought today we could talk about the different parts of the shoe and the names for them, the technical names, because the footwear industry has their own language. So it's good if you know the language as you're going into the industry. Yeah, because it's very specific and it's a little bit hard to find. Like when I first started, I was looking some terms that I would hear at work and I couldn't find anything for them on the internet. So hopefully this can help you guys. And I think it's really good for you to know as you're starting out. And even if you've been in the industry for a while, some people don't know these terms. So good to know. Okay, so let's start with the basics. I don't have a last here. It's called last. So what the last is, I'm gonna put a picture right here. It's the general shape of the foot within the shoe. So this kind of dictates a lot of things about the shoe that you're making. The last dictates how wide the shoe is, it dictates the toe shape, it dictates the heel height to a certain extent, and also the toe spring of the shoe. Okay, so it's basically a plastic foot form that you make the shoe and design the shoe off of. So that's the basis of everything. Okay, so just to give you an idea here, the last for this one would be whatever the plastic mold that this shoe fits on. So it would be a pointy toe because this is a pointy toe. It would be this high because that's how high the shoe is. And it would have this width in the ball of the foot. And so it really matters. The last kind of dictates a lot of your shoe. So you want to make sure that it's as you want it. It needs to be perfect. Okay. Oh, and the toe spring, which I just brought up. Toe spring I talked about in my last video, which was sketching flat shoes. So basically what the toe spring is it's this curve right here. So, how can I show this to you? Okay, so basically let me get my phone. See here, this point is where the foot touches the bottom, touches the floor. Then you can see there's quite a bit of height here. There's a big empty space between what would be the floor and what would be your toe or the tip of the shoe. So that's called the toe spring here. That's a measurement. So when somebody asks, what's the toe spring? Hold on, I'm grabbing my ruler. You measure, you put it on the floor. I mean, this isn't very accurate right now because I'm doing it just to show you on my phone, but basically you would measure between the floor and the bottom of the shoe, and you'd say, oh, the toe spring is. Usually it's about between 10 and 15, but it could be higher or lower depending. But if you don't have this area empty here, if you don't have this curve here, then whenever you walk, it's either like pushing down on your toes, which isn't a good feeling, or you're tripping over the toe of the shoe all the time, because this is the natural way that your foot kind of flexes. So when you walk, you need to make sure you have that curve and that space for walking. Yeah, so just a little shoemaking 101 and shoe wearing 101 for you. Okay, so the toe shape is this shape. So I would call this pointy toe. Okay, however, I have this flat sandal here, and this has a round toe. Okay, so there's a lot of different toe shapes in the world. Right now, square toe shoes are having a moment in women's fashion, like severe square toe shoes. And toe shapes come and go in popularity and trendiness. But pointy toe, round toe, square toe, almond toe, which kind of looks like the tip of an almond. So it's slightly rounded, but also kind of pointy. So those are kind of in fashion here and there. Like most of the time those are classics. And then how exaggerated they are kind of comes in and out of trendiness. I also talked about the pitch of the shoe. So what the pitch is basically from where the shoe touches the floor to this height here, the back heel height. So this measurement here is the pitch. Okay? However, one place where this isn't entirely accurate, this description, is on a platform shoe. So I'll show you here. There is a difference between heel height, which is the height from the ground to the top of the heel. So let me just measure this really quickly. Okay. So this one's roughly 108 millimeters from the floor to the top of the heel here. Okay? But that's not the pitch because this has a platform. So, okay, so the pitch is from this point to this point, this measurement. Okay, so how you determine that is, we said this was 108, right? So then we measure the height of the platform, which is 15, excuse me. The height of the platform is 15 millimeters. So what we do is we subtract the 15 millimeter measurement from the heel height, and then that gives us the pitch. So it's basically this measurement. Okay, so most of the time on normal, like non-platform shoes, the pitch is very easy to do. The pitch on this one is probably like 25. So in most of the time, the pitch and the heel height are the same. The only time that it differs is when there's a platform involved. Let's talk about outsole. So we'll start from the ground up. Okay, this is called the outsole. Oh my God, well worn, right? Sorry for this. Okay, so this is called the outsole. The outsole can either be made of leather or a synthetic material. Either one is fine. This is called the outsole logo. So it's the logo that's stamped on the outsole. This right here is called the outsole edge. So it's the edge that you can see from the side of the shoe. So that's basically all you have in regards to outsole terminology. So you have outsole, outsole logo, outsole edge. This black line here. Okay? Then with the heel, you have the heel height, which is usually measured from the back, and it's not measured like this. It's measured, gosh, this is hard when I'm not, when you're not like doing it from straight down. Sorry guys. So it's measured from the ground straight to the top of the heel right here. So this one is 40, 40, 41, okay? Okay, so heel height, heel shape. So this one has kind of an angled heel breast. The heel breast is this part here, the inside of the heel. Okay? So this has this is what we would call an angled heel. This is called top lift. This is called, well, it depends. So this one is like a mold. So this one is, I can't really tell you what that is. That's called the heel, okay? This, when it's in material, is called a heel wrap. Okay, so the heel is usually a plastic, like ABS plastic, and then it's wrapped in fabric. Okay, and you'll be able to see because usually there's a seam here. Okay. And then this one is called a leather stack heel. And so you can see it kind of looks like wood almost. It has these like beautiful variations in color. And it also looks like little strips, and that is little strips of leather. Heel height, heel breast, leather stacked, heel wrap, and top lift. So those are your heel terminology. Okay. Now when we move to the top of the shoe, this whole part here is called the upper. So that's the whole top of the shoe. Like this is the upper of this shoe. This whole thing is the upper of this shoe. So then this upper is in kid suede. This upper is in satin. This upper is in faux snake. Okay. Then we move to the inside of the shoe. This is called the upper lining. So this is the upper, this is the upper lining. Not to be confused with the sock lining. So that's this piece here, the sock lining. This is called the sock logo. So it's logo on the sock logo. Not to be confused with the outsole logo. Okay? Now, as I was saying, this is easier to see on a sandal. So, see this piece here that matches the upper material, the snake? This is called the insole binding or insole wrap. So this hard piece here, that's called the insole. So this is the outsole and this is the insole. This helps to keep the structure and it really holds the foot in place. So insole and insole binding or insole wrap. And that's usually put on first and then the sock lining is put on top of it. Okay? And this piece here is called the toe wrap. So this wraps over the toe shape. Now, closed toe shoes do not have a toe wrap. Open toe shoes do have toe wrap. Open toe shoes, sandals, like a peep toe, anything like that, it will have a toe wrap. This is called the back counter because I think normally for people it would make sense to call this the heel because that's where the heel of your foot sits. However, this is called the heel. So you don't want to get confused when speaking about the parts of the shoe. So this piece here is called the back counter. And that has a sheet of material inside between the upper and the upper lining that holds it. It's very firm. So it kind of like holds the shape and it doesn't collapse when you have your foot inside. Okay, so this is called the back counter on the outside. See here, the upper lining, I don't know if this is easy to see here. Okay, I'm sorry guys. So the upper lining stops here and then there's another material here. Hopefully you can see this. Anyway, you can just take one of your shoes at home and look at that as well. So this different material here, sometimes it's suede if the shoes are high quality. Sometimes it's like a faux material, but basically what it is, it's called the counter pocket. So this is the back counter and this is the counter pocket. So this is usually a material that would grip the heel of your foot so that you're not like slipping out of the shoe all the time. Now the heel, the shape of the back counter is really supposed to be the part that holds your foot in. But if this was a slippery material here, the counter pocket, then your foot would constantly be slipping out or it might sweat and then create blisters. So they put it in like a softer material that grips your foot. Just one more time. We have sock lining, insole binding or insole wrap, upper lining, back counter, counter pocket. Okay, and then here, this part here is called the toe box. So there are different heights of toe box. It just depends on your last, right? So the toe box is kind of the toe shape and the height of the toe as well. There's also that same thing that was happening here where there's a sheet of material in between the layers. The same thing happens here. Hopefully it's a little bit thinner so it doesn't like squeeze your toes, and it's a little bit flexible, but it provides a little bit of structure inside the shoe so that you can't see the toes, and so your toes don't poke through your shoes. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Is there something else? There is! Okay, so this shoe is very plain, so there's less to see on this guy. But these two, so this one has a buckle, and it also has the belt loop, okay, and it also has the holes for the buckle. Then this has jewels on the front. Now, buckles and jewels, the general term for these things is called ornaments. So that's the general term, and then if you want to be more specific, it's jewels, or it's a buckle, or it's studs, or it's spikes, or it could be anything. Okay, so that's basically your different options. And then a lot of the times there will be a gore. So this is called elastic gore. So this one is covered elastic, but it depends on the shoe. But there's elastic here, and that helps with fit. So that's called elastic gore. And then back to this shoe, this is called the outside of the shoe. So if you look, and usually you'll see a seam here, or it's kind of, this would be the left foot. So on the left foot, the left side of the left shoe is called the outside. And then this is called the inside of the shoe. So usually when you sketch the outside of the shoe, or even if you're photographing the shoe, you photograph the outside of the shoe. You don't photograph the inside of the shoe because it's weird. You'll see like seaming, or even on this one you would see the elastic gore, and that's not where all the detail is. The detail is on the outside of the shoe usually. And then this is called the top line here. This right here, it's like a little tube. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's like a little tube that goes around the edge, and it's in the same material as the upper. This is called piping. And then on the shoe that I sketched in the flat shoe tutorial, this is called binding. So this is flat. And they're made in different ways. So this is pieced over the upper and then stitched. Piping is inserted between the upper and the lining as an extra piece that fits in, and then it's stitched as well. So this goes on top, this goes inside. So that's kind of the difference between the two. Okay, if you have any questions about the parts of the shoe, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to help, okay? And let me know if it would be helpful to learn the different names of different kinds of shoes. Like this is a ballet flat with a pointy toe. This is a pump with a choked up top line. So this is a strappy sandal. So if you need help with that, let me know. I'll wait for your comments to see if I should make that kind of tutorial. Okay, and again, if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.